What is up, everyone? This is Union Arena Battle Match Bleach versus Jujutsu Kaisen. Which one of those two are your favorite animes? Or let me know your favorite anime down in the comments. Like the last two matches, we're just going to talk about some things. All things Union Arena. This card game is super addicting, and your favorite anime could be coming to it. If you see any mistakes down from the match, let me know down in the comments. What's crazy is some people get really mad when you make mistakes, and you know what's funny? We're all humans. Humans are gonna make mistakes. That's why it's good to practice the card game, which you know what we're doing here, and also having a friendly match. Bleach Volume 2 is coming soon. We're getting more purple to beef up the already purple existing cards. We're getting more green for Bleach to beef up what's already with green, and Bleach is getting a new color introduced. We're getting blue Bleach, and those cards look very gorgeous. What I did do for this match, though, I did put up the cards that are being played, so you can pause the video and read the effects on what they do. I'll tell you one thing, Union Arena is a very expensive card game. Not in the sense if you just get the sets you're wanting, then it'll be a lot cheaper. But if you keep up with every set, this card game has a new set releasing every month, which is different than your normal rotation of every 3 months typically. So yeah, you can see how this can be really an expensive card game. Though to make decks is pretty cheap, and the cool thing that Bandai does is they typically make your normal SR cards, your secret rares, as normal arts, and they also do alternate arts of them, so you can just get the normal cards and have a fully functioning meta deck if that is your thing, which I think it's really cool. Of course, some decks will cost you more, you know, certain cards do cost a little bit more than other cards, even if it is the vanilla artwork, although as far as deck building, this is the cheapest card game I have ever played. I love it. And as I mentioned before, it's really addicting. So if you haven't played it, I highly recommend picking up a starter deck and playing with some friends. And then if you like the starter deck, start buying the boosters and building the decks that you want to build. Although the starter decks definitely have some staples that I would recommend in using in your game, you know, like the raids. Like I use some starter deck raids in this Bleach deck, and I also use the booster pack raids. There are some cards that I also use from the starter deck, and yeah, they're just awesome and really needed in the deck, in my opinion. Of course, it's really cool because you can tailor the deck to how you play, you know, and while someone might be running the same color as yours, it's not necessarily going to be the same, because there's several ways you can make your deck with the color that you choose. If you're wanting to get into actual events, I would definitely recommend using the Bandai TCG app and finding a local card shop near you where you can find events, because Bandai with Union Arena knows how to make some promo cards. There's some beautiful promo cards, and I highly recommend attending the release events as well, so you can get that beautiful release event stamp and making your common cards just that much more rare and that much more cool. But as I said earlier, there's some really cool promo cards that you can get that are alternate art versions of the cards you can pull from the booster packs. If you're a fan of Bleach, let me know your favorite Bleach character down in the comments. I know this is gonna be like but my honest favorite character is Ichigo. You know, he's just an all-around freaking phenomenal character. Gets stronger. I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't watched the anime, but go watch the anime. My only complaint about the Bleach anime is the amount of filler, and it's not necessarily the filler that I hate, but it's the fact that you're in a main arc, there's a fight going on, and then your next episode is completely like left field. We're at the beach now, and then they go back to the fight, and that's just the kind of filler I am not a fan of. And I'm also not a fan of fan service. I really wish fan service was not in any anime at all, but again, those are my opinions. Jujutsu Kaisen is an anime I haven't completely watched all the way through, though I have seen a little bit of it. I like it, you know, it's pretty modern, not as old as Bleach, and it's got some cool tropes going along with the anime. And from what I have read, you know, the creator is definitely not afraid to kill off main characters, as they really do. And I'm not going to be spoiling anything, of course, with Jujutsu Kaisen either. And I haven't even watched all the anime, as I said earlier, but it's really, really cool. I really like that Union Arena is doing multiple animes, so that way you and your friends are talking smack about what anime is the best, which anime has the strongest characters. Well, now you can put that to the test and play a nice little battle of Union Arena. What are some animes or manga series that you hope come to the Union Arena card game? I'm really hoping that we get like Naruto. I know there's a Naruto trading card game which isn't around anymore. You know, it kind of was a thing years ago, the earlier 2000s, but I haven't seen it at all anymore. It's kind of sad that that card game, you know, bit the dust. But yeah, I'd like to see Naruto come to Union Arena. Unfortunately, we wouldn't be seeing Dragon Ball or One Piece because they have their own card games as well. But it would be cool to still see them come to Union Arena, in my opinion. I'd love to see One Piece and Dragon Ball. But there are some sets that have been released in Japan that I really doubt we're going to be seeing here in America, just because the anime is not popular and I don't think it's even been dubbed here in America. Every set that has been released so far, though, will be getting a volume 2. So like Hunter x Hunter is getting a volume 2. Bleach volume 2 is coming out in 2 weeks. Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 2 is coming, same with Demon Slayer. Attack on Titan is also coming with Set 1, as well as Black Clover. I'm really, really excited for Black Clover and Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is probably going to be a beastly match to go against. Union Arena is pretty simple. They call it a common rules card game, which I don't understand what common rules mean. Does that mean there are other card games that play just like Union Arena? If there is another card game that's like Union Arena, let me know down in the comments. I know there's another card game called Multiverses, which is a cool name for a card game because that means multiple, you know, versus, and it is an anime card game as well, though I do not know all of the animes that have came to that. Pretty simple. As I said, you have 3 action points. Your cards on the top left corner tell you how many action points it costs to play, but also how much energy. So like your first turn, if you have no cards down, you have to play a 0 energy cost card, and then 1 energy to 2 energy. And building your energy, your back line is your energy line, and your front line is where you attack and defend. So you can have 8 cards total on the field, not counting your action points. You have 4 cards for your energy, 4 cards for your attack and or defend. Most card effects only affect the front line, though there are some cards that can affect the back line, and there are some cards that have backline effects, so there aren't very many, though in future sets there seems to be a little bit more of that coming. Can you imagine a real Jujutsu Kaisen and Bleach crossover? That would be a battle of epic proportions. What kind of matchups would you like to see? Or in general, what's a crossover anime or manga that you would like to read or see? Like, can you imagine if like Dragon Ball had a crossover with Attack on Titan, and then we just see Vegeta getting eaten by a Titan? That would be crazy work, though I don't think that would happen. I feel like Vegeta would Gallic gun his way out of there. Or like One Piece and Attack on Titan. Can you imagine a Titan putting Luffy in their mouth? They would literally chew Luffy like bubble gum. The flavor would just last forever. Or it could be like zebra gum and Luffy's flavor. Luffy would probably just straight up taste like meat. Like, let's not kid ourselves, because Luffy loves the meat. And yeah, I think he would just taste like meat. If you had to pick your ultimate anime team up, what characters would you pick? Player 1 had some good plays, but ultimately there's only going to be one surviving anime, and we're about to find out who that is. You know, the more anime you watch, I've noticed a lot of animes take from other animes, which they all kind of take from the big 3, and the big 3 took from Dragon Ball. Although I do see Dragon Ball Super really being influenced by the One Piece anime. Like, let's face it, One Piece is probably the biggest anime ever. Probably bigger than, I wouldn't say ever, because Dragon Ball, it won't ever beat Dragon Ball. Like, no way. But One Piece is bigger than any other anime that we have coming out, and quite possibly any that comes out in the future. And it's crazy too, because One Piece is literally like the only pirate anime, at least that I know of. I've done some research and looked up, and there are some that are kind of, but it's not like legit like pirate like the One Piece anime is. But yeah, player one wins the match. Bleach is the winner of this Bleach versus Jujutsu Kaisen match. Freaking phenomenal. And you never know, because card games, it's always, you know, heart in the cards and luck of the draw. And Jujutsu Kaisen could have easily won. And in a future match, Jujutsu Kaisen might just beat Bleach. We will find out. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and have a good day.